and welcome to the first video in our series on stringr, which is the tidyverse package to process strings. Now, a string is something that will start with and be enclosed in the double quotes. So if I tried to put a quote mark inside of those, it's going to give me, it's not done. So it's going to give me an error because it thinks it's the end of a string and the start of a new string. So in order to get around that, what I do is a backslash, which says escape, and do that. Now what you see printed to the screen shows me the printed representation. If I want to see what's actually being interpreted, what the raw contents of the string are, I will use the write lines command. So when I do that, you can see that what is contained in the string, which is the quote mark. Now I could also do write lines, and instead of putting the double quote in there, I could put a single quote mark, and then I don't have to escape it. Or I could do the same sort of thing by using single quotes around a double quote. And because those are different, it basically does the escape for you. So here we see I'm storing a vector in X that has two strings in it. And if I look at X, it shows me the printed representation. But if I do write lines, it will show me what's contained in those. So you see the first one, it escapes and shows me what's in there, and then it escapes and shows me the backslash mark. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a different string. Here I'm going to do a vector, which is a character vector, and if I look at that, I see, there's what's in my vector, and if I did string length of X, it tells me how many characters are each one. Whereas if I do the length of X, it's going to tell me that X is a vector of 3 items. Or I could do in characters of X, which tells me the same thing as the string length. Now let's look at ways that we can put strings together. So string underscore C, you'll notice that all the stringr verbs begin with str underscore. That's so you can start typing them and it'll prompt you with all of the possibilities. So if I did str underscore C, which is string concatenate, it puts them together with no space between them. I can instead tell it, oh, I want to concatenate these strings, but I'm going to specify a separator. So here I'm specifying that I want the semicolon and a space to separate the strings. I can do a similar sort of command, a very similar command in base R is the paste command. So if I did paste, or I could do the same thing with a paste 0, and that puts them together without any space between them. Okay, I can also use string concatenate. Watch this one. I'll do string concatenate, and I'll tell it I want the string oh no, and then I want X. Now remember, X is 3 elements long, and then again. Well, look what it did, is it replicates oh no and again to be the same length as I had before, and puts, here is a string in between, and puts the semicolon between the items. So it took the first element of X and put it in, and then repeated the oh no, the second element of X, again, repeats oh no, the third element of X, and again. We can also use the backslash to write characters that are not part of the regular keyboard. So for instance, I can look at that character And you see that is the Greek letter mu. So I can represent other characters, and you can get a full listing of those online. That's going to be the end of video 1. We will pick up with video 2, which will talk about subsetting strings.